This is the fourth installment of the SimplePlanes 2 showcases, and as always, today we have a lot to cover, so I think we're just going to get straight into it. The first thing is a very simple quality of life feature. It's a search bar for parts. In the search menu, you can rename parts to whatever you want, and you can also enable and disable the parts from view, which is very helpful if you're trying to do detail in a certain area and you don't want parts blocking each other. I think it's going to be really useful. This will help with making crafts with lots of detail, where you can obviously name any custom part you want to be whatever you want, and then you can easily know exactly which parts you want to search up. And then if you want to hide those parts of the craft, you can obviously do that. And you can also search by ID, which I believe you can do in Juno. The next one is really cool. It's about how we build wings in SimplePlanes 2. This new system is going to make it so much easier for people like myself who absolutely hate the SimplePlanes designer, but this should make it so much easier to design wings and everything like that. Instead of, or maybe as well as, I don't actually know yet, placing wings end to end to make wings that are complex in shape, in SimplePlanes 2 you can make wings that are basically a single part, and you have a lot of customization in this, which is going to make it extremely impressive. The main example shown in this video is how we can curve the wings up and down, which is really neat. We can also see in this menu that we can change the airfoil type, wing camber, and all of that really cool stuff. This is hopefully going to improve the performance of crafts because you'll be able to make giant wings with lots of detail without even having to make multiple part wings. And the whole simplification of detail is a bit of a theme in this showcase today, especially with what's coming on later in the showcase. Next we have another really big one, and this is talking about flaps and air brakes. In SimplePlanes 2, the flaps and air brake system is extremely different to how they were in Juno and SimplePlanes. Instead of directly adding a flap through the menu of the wing itself, flaps are now their own parts. There are a few different default types of flaps. We have the standard flap that is used for pitch, roll, and yaw, the brake flap, which is essentially a normal flap which would work like a normal flap, but it also has an aero brake function, which is really cool. We have the Fowler flaps, which you see on airliners typically. These are really nice as well. And we have the slat, which is very much similar to the Fowler flap, but it's on the leading edge, and you see this on many other aircraft as well. I think this is such a big innovation between Juno and SimplePlanes, and it's really awesome. It's going to make craft building a lot easier for people like me who hate the SimplePlanes designer, and I think the wings are going to look awesome with this feature. Now we're going to talk about the fuselages, which have had some insane quality of life changes between Juno and SimplePlanes. First of all, they brought one of the features over from Juno's fuselage editor, which is find corner radius tweaking with the slider. That's really nice. It's also good to know that the fuselage parts are very optimized now, so depending on which state you put the fuselage in, if it's rounded or square, or if it has curved edges, instead of having the exact same amount of vertices like it used to have, they're going to alter the amount of vertices so that each model has a perfect amount so that it's not lagging too much. They've also let us tweak the curvature of the edges, which is going to make much nicer aircraft fuselage shapes. There's also a trapezoidal slider now, which will let us go from a more rectangular shape to a more triangular shape. It also mentions how the fuselage colliders have been changed. I did mention this in my first showcase, where the first showcase image was the showcase of the colliders. And as I said before, this essentially lets us walk into the shapes, so we can drop things in there. You could make mini games out of this as well. I was just thinking about it. You could have like pinball games. It's going to be cool. And one of the coolest parts about this, at least as far as I can tell, is there's no trims in SimplePlanes 2, so you can paint literally any face of the fuselage you want, which is just so cool. I'm hoping this is the same with every single model. So far it has looked like that, with them showing them painting the props and all that stuff. It looks really good. So hopefully it'll let us have a next level of customization for painting our crafts. And speaking of painting and texturing crafts, we next have the texturing part of the showcase. In SimplePlanes 2, there's two types of textures. There's flat and wrapped textures. The flat textures project onto the craft from a single direction, and the wrap painting uses triplanar mapping, much like all the ground textures do in the game. So you get a much more clean and non-distorted texture wrapped around your aircraft. We can also see in this video here that the textures are all stored in their own file locations. This does give me a little bit of hope that we might get organized crafts in SimplePlanes 2, but obviously I have no idea yet because they haven't showcased that. And we'll also see this with the next part of the showcase once I talk about that. But anyway, this new texturing system also allows us to set different colors for different parts of the texture, so you can make really cool camo patterns and all that sort of stuff. And of course, there's an improved set of placement and rotation tools using the textures. And the final part of this showcase is by far my favorite, I think, and this is the decal section. I actually predicted this was coming before it even was showcased, so that's pretty cool. The new decal system is absolutely insane in SimplePlanes 2. Once again, it's file sorted just like the textures were, and you can see there's a lot of different textures here. I will say every single major update, I hope they add just a few more textures every single time, just so we have variety over time. That would be just a nice little thing for the creators, I think, and it surely can't be that hard to do, I would imagine. The first thing you'll notice when they're placing down these decals is they actually wrap to the plane, so they're not going to stick off the side like a piece of text in Juno does. I also hope they have the text system wrapped like this, because that would be very useful. And specifically, I want to look at this plane here in the image. This thing is incredible. You can see very tiny bits of dirt on here. You can see soot coming from the engine exhaust, and there's just little tiny, very hard to notice little scratches all over the aircraft. It looks so good. And these are all done with textures as far as I can tell. So think about the amazing possibilities you can have. If you look at any aircraft in real life, especially military aircraft, you'll see soot all over those things. So this is going to bring a next level of detail. There is a whole crazy amount of customization you could do with these decals as well, and I think this alone is just an enormous step past SimplePlanes and Juno. So let me know what you think about what's in this showcase and what you want to see in future showcases. These are some incredibly innovative and awesome features compared to Juno and SimplePlanes, and I can't wait to see more. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. And as always, I'd like to thank our members, Mr. Spherical, Sean Plays Too Much, Carnassa, Pedro Ragnarok, Adam Katz, and Ricardo Ace for supplying the funding for the channel. And with that said, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.